Yeah. Hi, everyone. How have you all been? Great to see all of you again. Oh, apologies. Let me just get the light on my face right over there. There you go. So, how have you guys all been? It's really nice to see you again. It feels like it's been a while since I've seen you. Afro, it's great to see you, bud. Zydan, great to see you as well. I feel like it's been a bit since I've seen you. Big Bash is here. We got Trevor here. Spider Will, great to see you again, bud. Fireboy, Joey is here. Nate the Great. Omar is here. Spider Studio. Let's see. Is that G Gamer? Yeah, G Gamer is here as well. Oh, I Hate Anime. Oh, so great to see all of you again. Let's see. Who else is here? Khan is here. Billy is here as well. Oh, Billy says she got an ad. That's good, and we know it's working in that case. Oh, Omar says the snow is crazy. The snow was crazy for us too, but thankfully it's calmed down. Creator, is that Creator Edit? Let's see. Yeah, Creator Edits is here too. Oh, hi to all of you. It's so nice to see all of you again. I gotta say, I actually missed you guys this time. I mean, I always missed you guys, but because we always do these 1 week at a time, sometimes the weeks just fly by, and I feel like, hang on, didn't we just do this a few days ago? But this one, I actually felt the time away from you guys, so it's so nice to actually be back. Let's see. Joshman is here as well. Says Eric, how's it going? And how's it going on the Versus video on Zootopia and your worst movie list? Those are going very well. Spirit Hero is here as well. Hi, Trevor. Classic Chickman. Classic Brickman. I'm sorry. The writing is so small this time. I don't know why. It's just maybe my eyes are getting bad. But where was I? What was I saying? Oh man, I was saying something. I just lost it. Oh, Josh Man's question. Zootopia 1 versus 2 I'm working on. It's getting closer to being done. The worst movies list, I'm going to get straight to work on that as soon as this is over, as we've done this live stream. I've already been working on it, but I've written... Out of the 10 movies, I've recorded my voiceover for 8 of them, and I've edited the voiceovers as well. I've got one more to record, which is already done. The other one, I got to finish the script up. I just want to double check on the movie to make sure I got my notes right on it and my descriptions right. And then I'll record that one too. So the video's getting done. Don't worry, before this month is over, my top 10 worst movies list should be released, so don't you worry about that. And let's see what else. Oh, the Time Shadow says, I'm going to have to cancel my Patreon membership for a bit, Eric. I'm running really low on money at the moment, and I'm due to be charged tomorrow. I'll join again when I can. That's okay. Whenever you're a bit available, or whenever you're available to do so, whenever it's within reason for you, then by all means. And I am going to be sending Time Shadow a video of mine to edit as well, so hopefully that will give you a bit on returns. Let's see. Billy says, I haven't had time to watch your recent video. That's okay. I literally just uploaded it a few hours ago, so you got plenty of time to watch it. I hope you enjoy it as well. I actually got my two brothers to watch it too, and I asked them what they thought. They liked the way I described everything, and I also asked them if they thought I was being fair and if I was bringing up good points. Because a lot of people really are getting... some people are getting annoyed, but a lot of people are like... they're trying to make other... It's like they have their own reasonings, which hopefully you guys can express to me more. That's why I've got the third segment for this live stream, where we can talk about Christina Hodson as the writer for the new Batman movie. But I gave a lot of reasons as to why this is not a particularly good choice, and there's a lot of people that are actually... like, some people are quite aggressive about it. Like, I don't know why. It's like, like, they don't know why I'm not on board. But for me, it's more like, why are you on board? Because, like I said, if you be honest, is Christina Hodson, even if you're for her as a writer, do you honestly think she is like the best choice James Gunn could have got? Because there are any number of writers that would want to write for a Batman movie. He could have got his pick of the litter. He could have gone right to the top and gotten the best writers. But instead he got Christina Hodson, who I feel needs to still like be given some other projects to work her way up to a Batman project. And a lot of people are saying, let's wait and see how it goes. It's like, with some stuff, you just kind of know. You have a ballpark idea of where it's going to be. And with Christina Hodson applied as writer, I feel like I do have a ballpark idea as to what the quality of the movie is going to be. And that quality is not high enough. It's not good enough. So that's why for me, I'm like, hire a better writer. I gave a couple of examples in my video where I talk about, some of the writers he could get that could do a really good job. And when I mentioned it to my brother, he was like, yeah, that's actually true. When I mentioned to James Mangold to him, he says, yeah, my brother was like, yeah, actually, that makes sense when I explained it to him, the same way I explained it to you guys in the Versus video. And when I talked about the creator for the Daredevil Netflix show, even then, my brother was like, "Yeah, that would actually be like." He goes, "He's a TV level director," but I'm like, "Yeah, well, if you gave him the job, he would have taken it seriously, to write a Batman movie." So yeah, Logan Miracle says writer of Daredevil definitely would be the best one. But do you see what I mean? It's like I literally just brainstormed that, and instantly that's one of the ideas that came to me. And that's a great idea. It's exciting. If you heard that he was writing Batman, you'd be like intrigued, like, whoa, what is he going to write? And the same with Paul Dini, same with James Mangold. Some people said Sam Raimi as well, because Sam Raimi said he is open to directing something for James Gunn, and recently he did say he tried to get the rights for Batman, but he wasn't able to back in the day, so he couldn't make a Batman movie. But he said he's open to direct something for James Gunn. So yeah, you could have also gotten Sam Raimi to come in and also do something. It would be interesting to see what he could do. So there are so much more interesting ideas than I think Christina Hodson. And there's even more interesting direct. I'm sorry to say this to Andy Muschietti. I'm not saying I don't want him to work in the DCU, but I think there are better directors to direct the Batman movie than even him. So, excuse me. So Andy Muschietti, he can work on another movie. What I think he should work on is a Swamp Thing film. Because with Swamp Thing, it can be very horror-like, and then you can get Christina Hodson to write the script for it. Like I said, don't give her Batman something right at the top, but give her something else to work on. I'm not saying she's a bad writer, I'm just saying she's not at the level for Batman. So give her practice with lower-level characters like Swamp Thing, and Andy Muschietti can do his horror thing and direct Swamp Thing. Meanwhile, James Mangold, who is assigned to Swamp Thing, they should give him Batman the Brave and the Bold, because James Mangold, he's worked with darker characters that are very, like, broody and very moody, like like Logan in like Wolverine in the Logan movie. So if you gave him the Batman movie, I'm sure he could do a great job with Batman, just like he did with Wolverine, because they have similar sensibilities in terms of how much like more depressed and darker heroes they are, and also because he did a great job with Daphne Keane, who played X-23. And he did that whole father-daughter relationship there. He could also do a father-son relationship this time with Batman in The Brave and the Bold, with Batman and Damian Wayne. So I think James Mangold would have been a better choice than what we have here with Andy Muschietti and Christina Hodson. So that's what I think. I think there are so much more interesting ideas, and the idea that James Gunn went with, I think, is just too. It's like it doesn't blow your mind with like, oh my god, the possibilities. It's just like, oh, you've got a writer that can do a good job rather than a writer that can do an excellent job and a special job, if you know what I mean. Okay, so Jonah White has done a £3.66 donation. Thank you very much, bud. Oh, that reminds me. Oh, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Huey Lewis, I like that you said that it's like a redemption for her, but the thing is, I think Swamp Thing would have been a redemption for her too, because Swamp Thing is a very tragic character, and I think she could do, if you play your cards right, you could do a beautiful job with a movie like that. So I would be willing to give her something like that. There's still a lot, it's not a fob job, like it's saying, oh, give her a character that has nothing going for him. No, Swamp Thing has a lot going for him. And if she had something like that, and if she like knocked it out of the park with that, then I would be like, okay, let's see what she can do after that. But to just give her Batman right from the get-go, I feel like she's not ready for that yet, for something like Batman. You need to kind of like work your way up to Batman. I mean, James Gunn, he worked his way up to Superman. Matt Reeves worked his way up to Batman. If you look at his filmography, it took him a while before he went up and got a character like Batman. And Christopher Nolan, he also paid his dues as well. He had 3 movies that were very much character studies, especially with Memento. So, you need to have a build up to it. Even And also going back to James Mangold, he's made corrupt cop movies as well. There's a movie called Copland that he made, which was really good, has Sylvester Stallone in it. That dealt with corrupt cops, and also, hang on, and also he worked on 310 to Yuma that had Russell Crowe and Christian Bale in it, which was also a much more darker kind of drama. So give her something. I'm not saying don't give her anything. I'm not even saying she's a bad writer. I'm just saying she's not there yet. She's not at that level for something to take on something like Batman. And people are going to be very, very harsh on anyone who comes in and takes over for a Batman movie. So if she doesn't do an adequate job, and then people like say that you didn't do a good job, and then people like you're being too hard on her, like don't be. It's like, well, start her off in a place where she can get more fans in, and where they can be like, oh, she actually did a very good job there, and then they'll be more open to seeing her do a bigger character. They'll be more open to her what she can do as well, because right now, even James Gunn's like most ardent fans are like saying to him, "Why are you doing this?" In fact, quite a few of them are saying, "You know what? Just scrap Brave and the Bold. Just bring Matt Reeves Batman and have him be part of your universe." Like a lot of people that normally are very pro James Gunn are kind of like saying that what is this choice, man? Like, and I do kind of agree. Like, what is this choice? Okay, so Jonah White says, watched Avatar 3, I enjoyed it. Oh, cool, that's really good. The final battle format feels too much like the first movie. I can see that. Uh, what's that name? Ouya, was it Ouya? Was that her name? I can't remember that name. Ouya already helped out in movie 1, so why is she not willing to help again? Plus, the humans and Navi are basically in the same position as the last movie. Yeah, it did feel like it was treading over some old ground in the first two films. But the thing is, I feel like you kind of go into that knowing that with the Avatar. Like, I'm not saying that's an excuse, but I kind of went in knowing that this time round. I think that's because I watched the second movie, so I went in knowing that. It's not an excuse for it. I feel like James Cameron should do better. That's why I think with the fourth movie there's potential to do something different because he has set some stuff up here, so we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I totally get you at the same time. Oh, I got a £1 super chat. Thank you very much. Love Grizzly Polar Bear. I appreciate that. Um but yeah, I do agree, Jonah, that they should oh, excuse me, I don't know why I'm getting a little bit it's not hay fever, but it's a bit of something. Don't worry, I anime, we'll get there. Okay. But yeah, Jonah, I do agree that it has the problems that the Avatar movies have that you kind of now sadly have come to expect. So if he does another one, I've said this in my versus video, which I'll tell you right now, I hope there's some interesting stuff with the characters in Avatar 3, and I hope he further delves into them and delves into them heavily, not just a little bit like he did. So that's what I hope. All right. Let's see here. Okay, now Jonah, I wanted to ask you a question because you've commissioned me to do an Andor review of season 1. And I said I'll do 8 episodes in the first. You said that you're gonna get me to do it in 2 parts for you. You said that you want me to do it with first you said 6 episodes, and I said I'll do it with 8 because that's what I wrote on the perk on Patreon. But would you be all right if I did actually review 6 because there are 12 episodes as I understand it in season 1. That way I can review the first half of season 1, then the second half, as opposed to reviewing the first 8 episodes and then the last 4 episodes. That seems a bit out of order. That just seems a bit like doesn't seem as neat or as nicely done. I think it'd probably be better if I did like the first half then the second half. That would be easier to write for, I think, and it'll be a more cohesive review that way as opposed to reviewing the first half plus 2 episodes on top of that. So if you're okay with that, let me know and I'll do the first 6, and then with the second half of the video, I'll do the second 6. If you're okay with that. The Logman is here. He says, sorry he's late. Don't worry, buddy. Have I seen the Oscar nominations? Not all of them, but I've seen the... I looked at the ones that I cared about, that being the animated feature, and there is no Demon Slayer Infinity Castle in there. Like, what the heck? No Demon Slayer Infinity Castle at the Oscars? That's one of the best animated movies of the year. Like, you guys have seen my best movies list. It was my favorite movie of the year, and the fact they just snubbed it, what a shame. What a real, real shame. Fireboy says, a question, Eric. Do you want Robert Pattinson to be part of the DCU or not? And from my opinion, I don't want Robert Pattinson to be in the DCU. Yeah, I don't want him to be in the DCU because I don't trust James Gunn with something at that level of quality. Even James Gunn's best movies don't get to reach the level, in my opinion, of Matt Reeves' The Batman or Nolan's Batman movies. Those are on like a whole other level, and he can't. He's not made anything that's on that level. He's made good stuff, but nothing on that level. So I wouldn't want him to personally. Rowan says he's sorry he's late for the stream. Don't worry, buddy. I'm glad you're here. The same with you, Gary Loke. Great to see you here as well. Have I seen Stranger Things 5 yet? I still haven't seen the second half of it. I've seen Vol 1. I still haven't seen Vol 2. Because a lot of the stuff has already been kind of like been spoiled for me. But it doesn't even feel like spoilers. It just feels like, is that it? So I'll try to do something on Stranger Things 5, but I'll have to watch it first. And I'm trying to get my top 10 worst movies list out as well as the Zootopia versus video. So it's a bit, so I'm just trying to get through those first. Love Grizzly Polar Bear says, how was a Goofy movie, Eric? It was actually really good. For those of you that don't know, I actually do watch private Discord watch parties every 2 weeks on my Discord server. If you want to take part in them, all you got to do is just take part in this Patreon perk, and you gain access to my private Discord server. And every 2 weeks we do a watch party, and I always talk about them. I let you guys know ahead of time what movie we're going to be watching together. And last week we watched a Goofy movie, something that crazy cat lady suggested before, and I wanted to watch it ever since I was a kid, and I watched the Goofy movie for the first time over with you guys on the private Discord server, and it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. It was a fun road trip movie, and it was also quite reserved. It didn't try to go completely crazy, and there's something quite nice about that. There is something calming about that movie, even though you have Goofy in there, who's a very can be a very loud character. So I really enjoyed it. I gave it a 7 out of 10 when I finished watching it. Spirit Hero has done a $5 super chat. Thank you very much for that, bud. He asks, it feels like James Gunn is making sure all the DC movies are still his, even with new directors, like with the pop songs and humor. I do agree. It feels like he's got. When he said he's overseeing stuff, I hope it meant that he was overseeing stuff just to make sure that the quality was good, the quality control. But when you look at the Supergirl trailer, I get the vibe that he might be doing like he's watching over and monitoring everything, but really so he can tell them how to do it. And with Supergirl, I hope the Supergirl trailer is just giving this vibe across. But I hope Supergirl is not like Guardians of the Galaxy. Although he did say it was part Guardians of the Galaxy. Those were James Gunn's words himself. So that's concerning, that is. So yeah, we'll have to see how that goes. We'll have a look at the Supergirl movie, and that'll be a good tell as to how the rest of James Gunn's projects will be. So there's a lot riding on that Supergirl movie being good. G Gamer says, excited for the Zootopia versus video. I have so many questions to ask you about the movie, but I'll be patient. You have been very patient, G Gamer. No one's as patient as you are. So yeah, I'll get that. Don't worry. I'll get that versus video. I'll get that versus video out soon, and then you can ask me all the questions you want. Especially when we do the private Discord chats, you can ask me all the questions then too. Okay, have I watched the Mario Galaxy movie trailer? No, Crazy Cat Lady, I actually haven't, but I will be right after I finish this. I'm going to record a couple trailer reactions, including the new He-Man movie, and I've not seen either trailer yet, so I'll watch them, and I'll put them on my Patreon and on my YouTube memberships. If you want to gain access to my trailer reactions, you just got to go for that perk right there. Okay. Oh, Hi Anime says starts driving lessons next Thursday. Oh, good luck. Hope you enjoy it. Eric, just watch Scooby-Doo and Batman crossovers. We'll see, bud. I remember seeing that when that came out. I was like, that doesn't look like something I'd want to see unless I'm in the mood for something funny like that. Gary Loke, I have seen the Street Fighter trailer. I need to see, I think, more of a trailer to really get a vibe for it, because it is like a teaser. Afro says, I'm going to try and make my own reaction videos to that myself. Gots, upload more stuff for my channel. Yeah, by all means, go for it. Spirit Hero says, good luck. He got his license last year. Congratulations, bud. Eric, will we watch are you saying the Emmys? Are you saying, Billy? We'll see, because I have work to do. I have to still work on my top 10 worst movies list. Got to work on the Zootopia versus video. And there's other stuff I'm writing and working on too. And I literally just uploaded a video today that I also did some work on. So I don't know. We'll have to see closer to the time when we get to the end of the stream, and we'll see how I feel. But I need to get other work done. Oh, there's Jonah. He's saying, let's see what he's saying. Sure, you can do 6 episodes of Andor if that is easier. Yeah, that is. That will be not only easier, but I think it'll make more sense in a video to say I'm reviewing the first half of the season, and then you said you'll commission the rest, and then I can review the second half of the season, as opposed to the first half plus 2 episodes and then the last 4, the last quarter. It's not quite as even that way. So I think it'll make more sense if I reviewed the first half and then the second half. So thanks for that, bud. I appreciate that. Yeah, James Gunn has not confirmed it yet, but the thing is, someone said that James Gunn has not confirmed that she's the writer yet. But the thing is, he hasn't denounced it. Normally, James Gunn will be the first one to come out very quickly when something like this is going around and say, no, this is not true. But the fact he hasn't tells me that it is true. So, yeah. Oh, Tom Bailey is here. Hi, hi, bud. So great to see you. Man, I'm seeing some old faces here, or old profile pictures here. It's great to see you guys. So yeah, so nice to see all you guys, and I'm glad that you're all here. With that said, I think it's about time we get to the story. The stories here. Okay. Joey says, would I consider doing a Toy Story 4 versus Toy Story 5 video? Yeah, I would consider it, yeah. I wouldn't take it out of the realms of possibilities just yet, so we have to wait till the movie comes out, and then I can. All right, then. So we're doing all this talk about James Gunn. Let's talk about the Supergirl trailer. Well, it wasn't really a trailer. They've released what looks like a TV spot for Supergirl. It's like a 30-second sort of like TV spot that they've released. And in it, we get something that we actually were waiting on, that we wanted to see, which is Jason Momoa as Lobo. So this is the first shot that we see, and then this is a close-up shot right here that we got to see of him. And what we're going to do is we're going to talk about this. Now, it's hard to see because the problem with a lot of Hollywood trailers, I don't know why they do it. They release them at a very, very compressed 1080p. I don't understand that. YouTubers with no budgets are releasing videos at 4K quality. Meanwhile, Hollywood are releasing trailers where it's quite blurry when you actually blow it up on your big screen on your monitor and you're trying to watch the trailers. It's like you can't really notice details. So it probably would look okay for you guys here because I've made them smaller, the images. But even with this, it's a bit blurry. So it's like, do better, Hollywood. Seriously, let us look at these characters in 4K or something. Okay, now what I want to talk about first is the top image. Now, this was a really great shot, how he slides in with his space bike. And the look on his face, how he has the cigar in his mouth, it's like, I was like, this actually looks good. He actually looks really good here. So I was like, okay, great. Lobo looks really good. The problem, I would say, well, let's not talk about the problem yet. Actually, you know what? I think we should talk about it. Let me just quickly say this. I love the bike. I love his figure. Like, the makeup and stuff they've got on, it looks good from a distance like this. It looks really good. And he looks the part, like we all knew he would. The problem, though, you might be able to even notice what the problem is. It's just this color. Do you notice how it looks very yellow and everything? It's like, where's the color? Because if you look at, excuse me, because if you look at Lobo, he is a character. Now, this is not the best image that I'm going to bring in, but it's just to give you an idea. If you look at Lobo, he really stands out. Now, this is just one image. There are much better examples of images, but he really stands out. The thing that stands out a lot is not only his muscles and everything, and the fact that he's white all over, because, you know, he's an alien. His hair stands out, but it's also those eyes. Those eyes are like red, evil-looking eyes. And he can be funny with those eyes, but he can also be intimidating. And when I look at Jason Momoa, I just see a guy that is like dressed up in dressed up in leather, is white, and has got like the shaggy hairdo. Like he's not even. He looks like he's painted in white. He looks more like a band member than he does an alien. There just needs to be something a little bit more tactile about it. Also, I wish that they chose a different color scheme because there's too much yellow here. Do you guys notice how much yellow there is? So I wish they actually would have done a better job with that because it just looks like there's something missing. Now, that is also like made even worse so when you take a look at the other image close up because now we got a close up image. It's not at a distance and there's still too much yellow. Like there's even more yellow with the close up image and the black makeup on his eyes, you can't even really see it. Like it just looks his eyes, like I said, his eyes are meant to stand out. You're meant to see like the red in his eyes, in his pupils, in his but you just don't see it. I'm struggling to even see his eyes over here. Like, can you see his eyes? You're supposed to see Lobo's eyes. They're supposed to be like glowing red, but I don't see that. Uh, so I I think they've got the look down, but they haven't perfected it. Now, some people will say wait for the final movie, and yeah, we'll wait for the final movie to see what it looks like, but I'm talking about this particular shot. They got him down in terms of his swagger, the way he slides into the shot with his bike, but and he just doesn't look like he's taken right off the page. There's something a little bit cosplay about him. It's like they didn't nail it. For a movie, you expect them to nail it. So I think he doesn't stand out. Lobo, if you look at the art and like the comic book pictures that he's in, the comic book panels, he usually stands out when there's like a dark environment or whatever. Like he stands out. With this, he doesn't stand out. He just blends in with the background. Like, can you guys see that? He just blends in with the background. It's like they're not using lighting as good as they should, like on his back and stuff, to like make him stand out in the shot. He just blends in. So I wish they would have done a better job. I can't. Anthony says I can't see his eyes. Exactly, that's the problem. You're supposed to see his eyes. Let's bring that image up again. Look at him. And that's just one example. If you look up Lobo, that's one of the things that you really notice about him. Not just how you notice how big he is, you notice how white he is because he's an alien, so he's super like almost clown white. His hair is really stands out, and his eyes also stand out. But with Jason Momoa here, it just looks like they've thrown all this stuff on him, but it just doesn't all come together. Is the thing that I'm feeling. So I wish they would have done something that, like just perfected him. That's all they have to do. It's like a lot of it is there. They just need to perfect him is what they need to do because it's not perfect. Now you can see he's got in this comic book panel right here that he's got like this claw as a weapon that he uses. And he has that in the trailer that we see too, in the little TV spot trailer. So that's cool. I like that they've got that stuff there. I just hope they do it right. And also, I hope in the movie that he has a lot of screen time. The rumor is that he's got 2 action scenes in the movie. And I personally wish that he would have played the full-on villain in the film, because instead we've got another villain in the movie that looks very generic. Let me see, do I have an image of him? Of the generic-looking villain? I don't think I do. Yeah, it doesn't look like I do. But yeah, I wish that the villain I wish they would have done a better villain, because the villain that we see in the trailer, he looks like a generic MCU villain. Do you know those trailers in the those trailers in the MCU movies when they would show us a villain, we'd be like, this looks like a very generic villain. That's what the villain looks like. But this is a villain where you'd be like, oh, I want to see this. So I wish that he could have been the villain. So I don't know what they're doing. There's questions I have about the quality of the movie, but I am going to be giving it a shot. Wait, I mean, like I said, maybe it's just the trailer which didn't do it for me. But I hope they find a way to make him look better in the final movie, because like I said, he doesn't stand out here. It looks quite flat. So I hope they do a better job. Spirit Hero, the main villain is not a new character. Yeah, technically the new villain is a new character. It's a character from the comics, but it's not one that I don't think we've ever seen before. So you're gonna get a newer villain in the Supergirl movie, and it's gonna be more of a generic villain based on from what I can see in the trailer. He looks more generic, and we should be getting Jason Momoa's Lobo as the villain. That would be something that would sell tickets, and that is something that would really get people interested. But I feel like if he's not the main villain and people say, yeah, he's in the movie for just, say, 15 minutes in total, for example, I think people will not be happy with that. And I'd be surprised if James Gunn allowed him to be in the movie for only like 15 minutes. He needs to be like, like have a big role in the film. Anthony says, "Oh my god, thanks for reading. I didn't think you would see it. You didn't see my past comments for that one, but yeah, thanks." Yeah, because like I said, when I'm discussing these stories, I always make sure that I focus on the story at hand. I very rarely look into the comments when I'm doing that, so that's what I would. That's why I haven't read your questions, but I'm paying attention. Don't worry, bud. Huey Lewis says he looks great. He does look really good. I'm just saying that he doesn't look like it. It doesn't look 100%. It looks like they've missed a few steps. Because, like I said, there's too much yellow. He's not standing out in the shot. Where's his red eyes? How come his hair just looks like one of you said that he looks like what was it? Where is it? It's Charleston. He says, I heard people compare him to a member of the band Kiss. You guys know me. I don't know anything about bands, but when I saw the picture of Kiss and him, I was like, oh, wow, that actually looks pretty accurate. So I think they do need to do a better job in terms of just the thing is they've got it there. They've got the look. They just need to make sure that he stands out more, make his face look more white, make his eyes red, and there you go. You've got him down. But what's with this ugly color grading going on in the movie? Like, he doesn't look lit well. So, yeah. Cole says, hey, just got here. Oh, hi, Cole. Who's the main villain? I can't remember the main villain's name, but in the trailer, when you see him, you'll be like, that looks like a generic villain, like a generic MCU villain. And that's apparently going to be the main villain in the Supergirl movie. And I'm saying Lobo should be the main villain. Fireboy says, I want his eyes to be red. Yeah, I want his eyes to be red too. It's like, you can't even see the red pupils in there. So, yeah, that's kind of disappointing, but we'll see what happens in the final movie. Billy says, Eric, do you think they will push, like in Superman, for Kara to lean into the trauma of being the last daughter of Krypton? I hope so. It seems like that's what they're going to do, judging by the trailer. So hopefully they do delve into her tragedy that she experienced of losing her whole planet. Because unlike Superman, she grew up on that planet and lived there for so many years. So she has memories of Krypton. Plus, then she got frozen. She got frozen in like space. So because she got frozen, it's like she was frozen in time. So for her, it's like just the very next day, Krypton is gone, which she didn't know was going to happen. And now Superman is older. And where does that leave her? Not only does it feel like she's got less of a purpose, but also she has all that rage embroiled into her, which she lets out on Earth, which is not good. And Superman tries to train that out of her. So yeah. Oh god, shit. Big Bash, I think I didn't even read all your question, but it's kind of scaring me. Big Bash says, I wouldn't be surprised if James Gunn would play actual music from Chris. You know he wants his signature musical numbers. Oh boy, that is. And Spirit Hero is like, Big Bash, oh god, can you imagine? Yeah, and Khan agrees. He's pointing up at their question. Oh boy, that is not good. I hope that doesn't happen. Khan says, so, James going to still doing his MCU shtick. What I'm pretty sick and tired of at this rate. Let's hope he doesn't. If he does, I hope everyone is there to tell him not to do that, so he can be like, okay, let's not turn the DCU into the MCU. That's not what anyone wants. Tom Bailey has asked a good question. He goes, based on first impressions, how do you think his Lobo will turn out compared to his Aquaman? I think Jason Momoa has it in him to do a great Lobo. It just comes down to what the writing is and what his role is. Will they give him a big role, or is he going to be just a quick, like, 15-minute scene, like, have a 10-15 minute overall appearance? Will they utilize him in the story, or is he just going to be a gun for hire type person? We'll have to wait and see, but with James Gunn, I feel like we still need to wait and see what he can do. With dark characters, I don't have much faith in him, so we have to really see, because I feel like he can't help himself when it comes to darker characters, so we'll have to see what happens with Batman. With characters like Lobo, he can do them very good, but he can also get too carried away. So let's hope he does a good job with it. And I hope the director does have enough input to where he can make the movie that he wants to make, and maybe the director can try to do something that's different from James Gunn. But a lot of this does look Guardians of the Galaxy like. Spirit Hero says, hang on, I thought Aquaman appeared in Peacemaker, which is canon to the DCU. I'm confused. Well, if you watch Peacemaker season 2, I think it's the first episode, they retcon the heroes that show up at the end of season 1 of Peacemaker. They really do retcon it. So I think that they're trying to say that Aquaman and Flash weren't there now, is what they're trying to say. So watch it and you'll see. Joshman, I agree. Joshman says, I would say the Supergirl movie reminds me of Guardians of the Galaxy due to the vibe and feel. Yeah, it really does. It definitely does give you Guardians vibes, and you're not the only one. It gave a lot of people Guardians vibes. So hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully it does its own thing. Anthony, that's not a question I can answer now about ranking them. I'll answer that in the Q&A session. So ask me that during the Q&A. Right now, we need to stay at least on topic about this. And right now, we're talking about DC, not the MCU. Cole, I agree. Cole says, I really hope this movie can lean into the emotional aspect. I hope so as well. Richard says, are you looking forward to Supergirl or Spider-Man Brand New Day? Ooh. Which one am I which one am I more excited for? I would say I'm more curious for Supergirl because I want to see what a non-James Gunn DCU movie is like. Is the trailer making it look like Guardians of the Galaxy, or is the movie actually like Guardians of the Galaxy? We'll have to see. So I'm more curious for that, but of the two, if I had to pick which is probably going to be the better movie, it might be Spider-Man, but then again, you guys know I wasn't a fan of the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies. So it might. I hope it's different because the director recently did say Daniel Dustin Cretton, was it, or Dustin Daniel Cretton? He did say that the tone of the new Spider-Man movie is going to be different. Now, I don't think it's going to be super different. Marvel always say the tone is going to be like very different, but really it's hardly different. But I hope it does take a different tone from those previous movies, because I thought those tones were a bit too kiddie, I thought. So we'll see what happens. I hope the movie matures a bit, but then again, it's the MCU, so why am I even hoping for that? Anthony, I'm not a fan of the Guardians of the Galaxy, although I liked what the Russo brothers did with them in Infinity War and Endgame. And I also like what James Gunn did with them in Guardians of the Galaxy 3. I thought that was really good. Yeah, it could be another throwaway spin-off. We'll have to see creator edits. Ooh, Big Bash says, how much money do you think Supergirl will make realistically, Eric? I think it will make about in the 400 million range. That's what I think. I think it will be an underperformer. You don't have to apologize, Anthony. I've let you know what the situation is, and that's okay. So don't worry about it. You don't have to feel embarrassed. Okay. Cole Bernal says, I'm more excited for Clayface than this. Still interested though. Yeah, me too. I'm more interested in Clayface as well. That could be hopefully an auteur kind of movie, which I hope is what it is. Big Bash, we don't know the budget yet, but I think it'll be about 150 to 160 million, maybe. That's what I think. 120 to 150 to 120 to 160 million. Although I think really it'll probably be, the more I think about it, 120 to 150 million. Because look at the sets they're using. They're using the leftover Guardians of the Galaxy 3 Nowhere sets. That tells me that they don't have a huge budget. So they're using scraps compared to what the comic book of Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow actually has with a planet. So yeah. So what does everyone else think of Lobo? Do you think he looks good, or do you also think that he's so close, but they're just they're missing something? Tom Bailey says if Jason Momoa wasn't brought in, who do you think would be a good Lobo? I don't know. I've not really given it too much thought. But Jason Momoa just seems so perfect for Lobo. Do you think Supergirl will be another strong female character? I hope not. I don't think so. I think it will be more organic, this one. Certainly, she's not going to be a Captain Marvel type. Let's put it that way. Billy says, I think the skin doesn't look natural, but maybe they'll hone it with the special effects. I don't think they will. I think they're just gonna keep it with makeup and stuff, which is a good idea. But yeah, for me, it's like I said, he just needs to look more like an alien, and they need to make his colors stand out more because they don't stand out as much as they should. Looks cool. Lobo looks cool, says Big Bash, but the makeup could be slightly better. Yeah, I agree. Anthony says, I think this looks cool. I think he looks cool. I just wish the color was better. Also, he needs red eyes or it's not accurate. I agree. It's all there, like I said. They just need to get the lighting and the way they film him. They got to just perfect that. The makeup and everything is good. They just need to perfect the filmmaking of him, is what I think. At least they didn't cast Jared Leto as Joey Nichols. Yeah, of course. I think we're all in agreement with that one. Thank goodness Jared wasn't cast at Tom Bailey. Yeah, thank goodness that he wasn't cast. They still casted Jared Leto for Skeletor. Yeah, I'm aware of that. Maybe the red eyes are CGI. Well, hopefully they. Thing is, you can get away with it with CGI. So yeah, hopefully they do it. But as is, you just sort his eyes out, sort his color out. Like don't. It looks like people described it. People described it as it looks like it's got the yellow sort of like pea filter on over it, and that's kind of what it looks like. Yeah, they need to bring down that yellow. Oh, now you mentioned it. This is kind of giving me Morris vibes. Morris? Oh, you're saying Morbius vibes. Come on, I don't think it gives me Morbius vibes. Definitely not. I'm just saying they got it all there, but they need to just work out his color scheme, like light him better. But Morbius, no, dude, that tells me that you haven't seen Morbius. Morbius is really bad. Oh, don't worry about the autocorrect. I've been there. I know what that's like. All right, so looks like we're going to be getting into our next story. Let's see. Okay. All right, so here's our next story. Kathleen Kennedy is leaving Lucasfilm, and they're replacing her with Dave Filoni and Lin-Wen Brennan as the new Star Wars bosses. Well, I would say two things. One, about time, and two, about time. Kathleen Kennedy should have been let go a while back, and Dave Filoni should have been put in charge a while back. So this is good that he's in charge. This is very good. So yeah, so like I said, it should have happened a long time ago. That's the first thing. Second thing, Kathleen Kennedy should never have been put in charge of Star Wars. George Lucas put her in charge because he wanted her to look after his characters and to move the franchise forward and to basically take the notes that he gave on board. But instead, she stabbed him in the back. She lied to him, which we have on camera when this meeting happened. She goes, the important thing is to look after these characters, take care of them, and keep them the way that he envisioned them. And she didn't. She basically did a hostile takeover, and she did stab him in the back. She lied to him when he basically handed it over. She repaid him instead by trying to take over his world, and she did it in a way that, in the end, she screwed it up basically with her second movie, with the Last Jedi, the second movie of the trilogy. And yeah, that was just, I don't even know. I don't even know how she could have messed up so badly with The Last Jedi, but to this day, the effects of that movie are still felt on this franchise. So, yeah, she never liked Star Wars. She never respected the characters. We all know what she did to Luke Skywalker. She lied to George Lucas, and she neglected the original fans. And oh boy, did she neglect the original fans. She says that she owes male fans nothing. She was putting messages out there like the Force is female, even though the Force is for everyone. Even even Yoda has said so, that the Force surrounds every living thing, which I took philosophically to mean that the Force represents unity. But Kathleen Kennedy was like, no, it's just the Force is female. Like, that's what it represents. Like, I was like, okay, this is just ridiculous. It felt like she was coming in with an agenda, and then when that happened, it was like, yeah, it was convinced that she came in with an agenda, and she wanted to make it for she wanted to make the movie for the Star Wars movies for people that weren't even into Star Wars. That's what it felt like she was trying to change it towards. And that started to reflect the numbers. That's something that Marvel also tried to do, where they were trying to ignore their existing fan base, and they were trying to focus on, like, they said, we don't want you anymore. We want a different fan base. And we all know how that turned out. Now, both franchises are practically begging the original fans to come back. So, even Marvel is begging them to come back. They're bringing back the original X-Men. They're bringing back the original Avengers. They're bringing back Captain America, Steve Rogers. They're bringing back Robert Downey Jr., but they can't bring him back as Tony Stark, so they're bringing him in as Doom instead. It's like they're trying now to, like, they're begging people to come back, is what they're doing. And the same thing is going on here, essentially, with Star Wars. They are begging people to come back. And now that she's gone, you're going to see things change. Basically, everything to do with her legacy, just like she was trying to undo George Lucas's legacy with his characters, they are now going to, by I say they, I mean George Lucas and Dave Filoni, they are going to undo her legacy. So don't be surprised when they eventually use the World Between Worlds to essentially get rid of Kathleen Kennedy's Star Wars sequel movies. And they're going to do that, I think, to wipe them out from the timeline. Because to think that Grogu's was being trained by Luke Skywalker, and that he's trying to build this whole training facility essentially for future Jedi. You can tell that, as cool as an idea as that is, that it just, what's the point if it's going to lead to him losing everything in The Last Jedi for being out of character the way he was. So yeah, I think it's good that they're gonna get rid of that. That she's gone, and that now they can try to go back and restore it back to George Lucas's vision of what Star Wars should be. And Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau are very receptive to George Lucas, so we've seen them work together with him before. So I'm certain that it will end up being great. That Star Wars will end up being really good in the hands of Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau and George Lucas at the helm. But we'll have to see if that will be enough, because Kathleen Kennedy has left such damage in her wake. I mean, after The Rise of Skywalker, we've still not had any Star Wars movies go back to theaters. So we're only getting Star Wars movies in theaters with Mandalorian and Grogu, which is something that Jon Favreau is doing. But Kathleen Kennedy did such a bad job with Star Wars that she actually they actually had to take it off the big screen. So things are very bad with what she has done. So yeah, we're going to have to see how they try to fix this. We really will have to see. I don't know what they're going to do to fix it, but we'll have to just hope that they can do it, essentially. Joey says, at this point, I don't really care that she's gone. The damage is done. I don't know how they can clean up the mess she made. Exactly, that's the other sentiment, is that people said, well, you took too long to get rid of her. And that is true. I mean, even the Acolyte, apparently, is something that caused damage within the industry, because with people that I'm following on certain Patreons myself, They say that the Acolyte caused such damage that certain companies that they want to get in business with, Star Wars wise, whether it's for merchandise or whether it's for certain movies or shows, they don't want to have anything to do with it because the Acolyte was actually something that damaged the brand for them. Like the brand was already weak, like in a position of being weak, but the Acolyte came out and essentially kicked it while it was down, made it even worse. So yeah, Kathleen Kennedy, she's really done a bad job with Lucasfilm. The only good thing that she did was allow the Andor show to be greenlit. But at the same time, if you look at the quality of that show and compare it to the quality of The Acolyte and The Last Jedi, The Rise of Skywalker, and you see what she's done, you'll know yourself that the two that the whole thing with Acolyte is that how do you go from that level of quality from the Acolyte to Andor? You can't go from Andor to the Acolyte. So basically, Tony Gilroy is the smart one because because George Lucas also hired Tony Gilroy. Him and Dave Filoni were both working on the Clone Wars. So again, that's one of George Lucas's hires, and George Lucas taught him how to write for these Star Wars characters too back in the Clone Wars day, and that's why Tony Gilroy did a very good job with the Andor show. That's why everyone sings its praises. But the thing is, Kathleen Kennedy, if she was really that good, we would have gotten a lot of things like that in that vein. Instead, we got the sequel trilogy. We got the Han Solo movie, which was the first movie in Star Wars to lose money at the box office, and then what we also got after that was the Acolyte, and that's ultimately what she's going to be remembered for. That was her project, that like her baby that she was really trying to get off the ground. And yeah, we all again know how that turned out. Billy says, honestly, if they go multiverse route, we're going to be in a huge issue because that will please no one. Cole says he couldn't make it past episode 2 of The Acolyte. Sadly, I watched all of it because I was going to do a Let's Binge Watch video, but then I didn't end up making it. So yeah. I was honestly not interested in Andor because of how bad the Kenobi show was. That's another thing. The Kenobi Andor was getting bad reviews because Kenobi, people thought that was supposed to be the greatest of the Star Wars shows. But when it was just average in the end, people were like, well, if this is as good as it gets, then the rest of Star Wars will just be worse. If this is as good as it's supposed to get. So yeah, that was also a problem. The Obi-Wan show made me want to not watch Andor. I will be watching it soon though because I've been commissioned to do so. By Jonah White, and I'm looking forward to giving it a watch. She also, why did you torture yourself like that, Eric's a big bash? I tortured myself there for you guys. That's why I did it. Afro says she also came out as a supporter of AI. Another valid reason to dislike her. She came out as a supporter for AI. Wow, does she not? It's like she's trying to be disliked. So yeah. A Ray movie would have been a train wreck and we would have been tortured. Yeah, a Ray movie would have. Some people are still trying to push for that Ray movie. A Ray movie is an incredibly bad idea. The same with a Kylo Ren movie, a Ben Kenobi movie. Incredibly bad idea. They should just completely ignore the sequel characters altogether. Because no one is interested. So yeah, ultimately, I'm glad she's gone. She should have been gone a long time ago. But like a lot of you are saying, it could just be too late in the end. It could have taken way. They could have taken. I think they did take way too long to get rid of her. Sadly, Big Bash even says it's too late. So yeah, it's sad that they just didn't get rid of her sooner. What she did to Indiana Jones was awful, said Spirit Hero. Yeah, she didn't do a good job with Indiana Jones either. Let's see. Where is it? One of you posted a question. One of you mentioned something about the Ray movie. I can't find the comment, but I think they said that the Ray movie is happening. It's not happening. The Ray movie, anything that she said was going to happen is not. Especially now that she's gone, they can just say no, it's not happening at all. Um, Charlton says, I only got through 3 episodes of The Acolyte. I enjoy the 3rd episode, but that's about it. I couldn't be bothered to continue watching it, or I couldn't be bothered to continue watching it all, so that was when I started watching Smallville. Ah, right. Well, Smallville was definitely better than The Acolyte. I think they should make. Charlton says, I think they should make content that makes the sequels better for the fans, like how the Clone Wars made the prequels better. Nah, don't even bother. No one's interested in. No one's interested in the sequel trilogy anymore because they know it was never planned as a 3-part series. They were just making one, and then they didn't know what they were going to do for the next one. Then they wrote that one, and then they didn't know what they were going to do for the next one, and then they wrote that one. They just did it one at a time, no plan, no nothing. So they just had one director come in and do it at a time, is what they did. So yeah, just to ignore the sequel trilogy altogether, and hopefully Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni can open up a new path for the for Star Wars going forward. So yeah, I would say completely ignore the fact that they're doing anything with the sequel trilogy because no one wants it. Khan says, "Well, Dave Filoni is good in animation for Star Wars. For a live action, it's a bit mixed. Let's hope his partner can help out and improve the Ahsoka show." Yeah, his live action stuff was is kind of mixed, isn't it? It's just not as nowhere near as good as his animated stuff. Cartman is a terrible person, but in that episode, he was a hero. Oh, you mean yeah, in South Park, yeah. That was hilarious, that was. Hope they retcon the so-called sequel trilogy. I hope so too, bud. The Star Wars franchise needs to be saved. Need to be saved for once. Yep, it does need to be. So yeah, Big Bash says, I bet the people who are bullying George Lucas feel like shit. Yeah, they probably do. But I don't think they look back with regret though. Because yeah, they got very aggressive with George Lucas, like unneededly so. Mm. By the way, have you guys heard about what's going on with Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively? How things have just gotten so much worse for them. It's kind of interesting. Like, I didn't know how much of a messed up person Ryan Reynolds was behind the scenes. Like, that whole persona he puts on is just that. It's a persona. In real life, he is psychotic if you read those text messages and just the things that he says. Ryan Reynolds is a monster, says Big Bash. Yeah, he is. What about Lin-Wen Brennan? Do you think she will help Dave out or not? Really, when it comes to revising Lucasfilm? That's a good question, that is. Lin-Wen Brennan. I don't really know. Like, I don't think she's had any creative. I don't think she's had creative input on Star Wars stuff before. But she's someone who's basically kind of like. Do you know how James Gunn is running? Is that like running DC? But he does the creative stuff, and then Peter Safran does the business stuff. That's what the relationship is here. Dave Filoni does the creative stuff, and Lin-Wen Brennan, she does the creatives. So she does the business stuff, and Dave Filoni does the creative stuff. So that's what they're essentially doing here. That's the same relationship that they've got built up, essentially. Although I don't know what Peter Safran is doing for the business stuff. I mean, wasn't he the one that said Christina Hodson's Birds of Prey was so bad? Sorry, Batgirl was so bad that it was unwatchable and it would have caused damage to the DC brand. And he's not saying to James Gunn that you can't hire her, even though he said that about the Batgirl movie. He's like, yeah, sure, let her write a Batman movie. It's like, what is going on there? Something is just off and weird down there. Big Bash says, I'm going to be honest, Star Wars should have ended with Revenge of the Sith, like it would have been a good ending to the franchise. Yeah, if it did end with Revenge of the Sith, I think that would have, But thing is, I'm sure there are more stories. Like, everyone has wanted to see an Obi-Wan, like, story about what happened to Obi-Wan when he was in exile after Episode 3. And people wanted to see that, but they just ended up giving us a show that was just a waste of that. There was such potential, but they wasted it. They spent so much time on Reva that they weren't spending anywhere near as much time as they should have on Obi-Wan and Darth Vader. So yeah, that was just very, very bad what they did there. Like that, they should be embarrassed about that. I always read Star Wars books and comics for those kinds of stories. Yeah, but now that we're in in a place where with our entertainment we get expensive streaming shows and such, they could have actually found a way to adapt that and make it into a great streaming show, because that's what George Lucas and Dave Filoni did with the Clone Wars. Those could have been just like comic book stories, but they found a way to like say, let's write these stories for TV episodes and make them like hour and a half movies essentially, because they were four parters in the Clone Wars. They found a way to really do a great job with it, but in the end, uh, they just they did a great job in the Clone Wars, but the others, I feel like the other shows just they didn't do a great job. They just wasted their opportunity. All right, now Kevin has done a $5 super chat, and I think it's 14 minutes ago. I forgot to answer that question because we were getting into this. He says, "What's your 2001 film recap on Monkey Bone, Shrek, Mummy, Fast and Furious, Jurassic Park, Planet of the Apes, Osmosis Jones, Monsters Inc., Harry Potter, and Lord of the Rings?" What's my film recap? Well, first of all, Fast and Furious 1, I've only seen once, and I can't really remember it. Monkey Bone, I've never seen, but I've heard of it. So let's see. Shrek, Jurassic Park, Planet of the Apes, Osmosis Jones, Monsters Inc., Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings. Okay, Harry Potter in 2001, I loved the first movie as a kid. Absolutely loved it. It was a world that really blew me away. Just like how you see Gotham City in a Batman movie, or you see a galaxy far, far away with Star Wars. With Harry Potter, I was like, wow, this is on that level of creativity. It's big, it's really interesting, and I want to be in this world longer. So that's what I thought of Harry Potter. I really enjoyed it. It was quite freaky for a kids movie as well, but I loved that. The same with Lord of the Rings, quite freaky for a PG movie. I know in America it was PG-13, but here in the UK it was PG. If you could believe if you could believe that, the first movie was actually PG, and I remember watching it and I really enjoyed it. So the first Lord of the Rings was really good, had deeper meanings, which as a kid I did not get. But I really enjoyed watching it. It was even creepier than Harry Potter as well, which was cool. And it was cool to see PG movies really push the bar, because both the first Harry Potter and the first Lord of the Rings were PG back in the day in the UK. So that says a lot. Osmosis Jones, I liked watching all the animated characters on the inside of Frank's body, but I did not like the live action stuff ultimately. That was disappointing. But it was cool the animation was great. It was cool to see like how they damage like, Frank's knee when they hit something, like, it damages his knee. That was really cool to see. I really did enjoy the movie. Quite dark as well at places too. Um so that was good, but just the human stuff wasn't. I love Ozzy and Drix as characters too, by the way. And then Planet of the Apes. You're talking about Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes. I actually liked the movie as a kid, but it's really bad when you get down to it. And that whole ending, like, what the F, Tim Burton? Like, seriously, that was just bad. Jurassic Park 3. I loved Jurassic Park 3 as a kid. I'm assuming you're talking about Jurassic Park 3 because in 2001, I think Jurassic Park 3 came out. Or was that 2000? I can't remember. But I really was looking forward to seeing that movie as a kid. I saw it in the cinema, believe it or not. I was about 4 or 5. Really enjoyed it. I wanted to see it again, and I couldn't wait to get it again on video as a kid. The Mummy. Love The Mummy. It's like a horror movie for kids, or for families, the first Mummy, I should say. And me and my brother, about a few weeks ago, we watched the first Mummy movie again. So it was really good. I love the first Mummy movie. Full of adventure. It's what's considered to be the definitive version of The Mummy for most people. And then we have Shrek. What can I say about Shrek? I absolutely love Shrek. Takes the piss out of the Disney characters, introduces new characters, makes this whole thing about fairy tale creatures feel more rich, like there's like a world where they all just exist. Really cool. Really do love Shrek. It's my favorite of all the movies. So I absolutely love Shrek. And yeah, that's my 2001 film recap. So there we go. Alan says Big Bash, yeah. Charles says the ending to Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes is a dad joke. Abraham Lincoln, yeah. Creators Edit says it was 2001 where Jurassic Park 3 released. Oh, okay, then cool. So yeah. Did you know Chris Farley was meant to play Shrek originally? I did, and I've seen the behind the scenes stuff, the incomplete stuff. The vibe was completely different, so it's good that they got Mike Myers. Oh, I hate anime. Just watched the second Lord of the Rings movie in theaters today. Oh, cool. I hope you enjoyed it. So yeah. Anyway, Kathleen Kennedy is gone. She's done. She's not in the company anymore. She's done. That's great. I'm very, very happy with that. Okay. Now, we're going to go on to the Batman, the Brave, and the Bold next. But before we do, I'm going to go fill up my water because I feel like my mouth is like a desert right now, and I feel like we're going to have a lot to say and a lot to talk about. So I need to go get myself some refreshment. So I'll be right back. In the meantime, I'll just place you right here and just hold on, and I'll be right back in like 1 minute. I'm just going to go get some water very quickly. Okay, let's just disable that. Okay, I'll be right back. All right. Yeah, got my refreshment here. Wow, you're all still here. Guess you all want to talk about this. Welcome back, says I Anime. Well, glad to be back. It's just been 2 minutes, I think. I'm glad to be back. Okay, let's see. The mighty Lord Eric has returned, says Khan. Yeah, Big Bash, you're right. We are almost at the end of this month, aren't we? Like 2026 has just started, and already we're like 1 month in. Jeez Louise. I think I need another cup of water. It is ridiculous. Anime says, why is time flying too fast? Yeah, I know, it's really flying fast. I don't like it. Like, I turned 31 this June. Like, I never thought I'd be this old. When you're a kid, you think to get to 30, that's like a lifetime away. But now I'm already getting into my 30s. Like, geez, dude. Hi, Alexander. Oh, I don't like that. I do not like that. I'm into my 30s already. I feel like I just became 30 not long ago. Oh, I'm inching closer to my 40s now, and we're already a month into this month. That means in this June, I'll be... Oh, man. Yeah, Tom Bailey, 31. I don't look 31, do I? Or 30, do I? People say I look like I'm 24. Like, I've actually had people say that. Ugh. Oh, Connor is here. Hey, Connor, great to see you. He says, how you doing, Eric? I missed the last stream, but I watched the It movies for the first time a couple of weeks ago. 1990 was okay at best. Chapter 1 was amazing, and Chapter 2 was pretty good. Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. I eat too many carrots. I really don't. You look like you're in your 20s, says I hate anime. Oh, that means a lot. I wonder, and plus I'm going to get my beard trimmed soon. I wonder if that'll shave some extra years off or whatever, but yeah. Yeah, no, I'm surprised. Cole even says, yeah, you look younger. You look like younger than 30. Yeah, I know. Look a heck of a lot younger. Well, that's good then. Wow, got 43 of you. Now 41 of you. All right, now guys, we're going to be talking about this. This is something that a lot of you wanted to talk about. Okay, so basically, this is your turn. This is your turn. First of all, who has seen my video about Christina Hodson? Who's seen my video about Christina Hodson being the writer for Batman the Brave and the Bold? Let me know in the comments how many of you have seen that video. I just published it about a few hours ago, like 4 hours ago, I think. Okay, Anime says he has. Creators Edit says me. Tom Bailey says he did. Cole said he did. He goes, I have. Great video, by the way. Oh, thanks. Some people had a strong reaction to the video and my posts. I already saw the video, Eric, says Khan. Oh, thanks. Joshman says, I did watch your video right when you uploaded it, and I don't think she's a good choice to write Batman. Cool. All right. Cool that you've seen it. Afro says he's seen it. Charleston's seen it. Is there anyone that hasn't seen it? Just so I know you guys are all on the same page for when we talk about this. Yeah, Connor, you did talk about Sam Raimi as a good candidate. Yeah. Okay, Spider-Will says, so did I. Oh, Charles says, I gave it hype points. Hope that helps. It really does help. So if any of you could go to that video and click the hype button, it would really help, because apparently you can only press that button within a certain time frame of when the video has been uploaded. So anytime you guys can hit that hype button, that'll be hugely appreciated. Every little bit helps to try to spread the word. And if you can share the video on your Twitter or something, because you all know YouTube has suspended me on Twitter. Sorry, not YouTube. Twitter has suspended me when someone hacked into my account, and they're still not letting me have access to my account again. Oh, thanks, Cole, for hyping the video. I appreciate it. Anyone else can hype it, please do. Heck, even post the video in the chat if you can, for those that haven't seen it. But yeah, yeah, that would help anytime you can share the video and stuff. But yeah, I want to just make sure that everyone's on the same page about this, so you know basically where I stand about this movie and about Christina Hodson as the writer. Big Bash, I don't know. It's just been so many years. That's all I know. Anthony hasn't seen it yet. Okay. Joshman says, I did hype the video, Eric, and I did give your video a like. You were extremely on point, and you were definitely informative in your video. Oh, thanks, that's good. I appreciate that. Because there were people that actually says that did not take the video quite kindly. Even though I feel like I said, I asked my brothers if I was harsh in the video. They thought I wasn't. They said that you were on point, like you were giving your points, essentially. And they said they agreed with me. Yes, Anthony, I did hear about Spider-Man 4 not happening. That is such a shame. If only Sony let Sam Raimi do it sooner. So yeah, now basically, this is going to be for you guys to ask me questions. I'm not going to reiterate what I said in that video, because I already said a mouthful in that video. So if you guys want to know what I thought, check that video out. This is for you guys. Any questions you have, any disagreements you have, any points you want to add on to my points, this is the time. So you guys tell me what you thought of my opinions. If you thought I was right, if you thought I was wrong, whatever you thought, this is your time. If you have any counterpoints to argue in defense of Christina Hodson, now is the time so I can actually reply to you like this in this format. Okay, Aya Anime says, I haven't seen any of her movies, so I can't really tell. Okay, fair enough. Tom Bailey says, I would have brought in Bryn Stevens to write for The Brave and the Bold. Who's that? Let's take a look. Bryn Stevens, who is she? Is a writer and story editor, best known for her work on animated television series such as Gargoyles, Spider-Man, the animated series, Batman the animated series, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and He-Man Masters of the Universe. Okay. She's 68 years old. I didn't know that. So she's been a writer for a long, long time. What Batman the animated series episodes did she write, though? Like, are there any standouts? Let's see. Heart of Steel. I can vaguely remember that. Batgirl Returns. Slideshow. I don't know. Maybe I need to look into her other credits. But I don't know. I don't know if I would hire her based off of these, but maybe there's more to her credits. Let me know. Why would you choose her? I'm curious. I haven't seen it. Let's see. I've already read that. Not just that, Eric, says Khan. Um, with addition to this writer being in the movie, it's kind of already killing off my hype for the DC universe. Batman, especially, how long it's taking. Well, that's because they're trying to get it right, but I don't think they'll get it that right, honestly. Yeah, Tom Bailey, you and me both. It's a shame that Sam Raimi doesn't want to come back to do Spider-Man 4. Big Bashers, I think you make a lot of good points, but maybe she has learned. I don't like to fixate on the past, so I'd like to give her a chance. The thing is, you're not fixating on the past because it wasn't that long ago in the past. When someone writes movies like that, and especially when they are given a project like this, that is like basically the keys to the castle, you need to make sure that you have someone who's worthy of sitting on that throne. And Christina Hodson, she's not worthy of sitting on that throne for something like Batman. I don't think there's any throne that she's worthy of sitting on just yet. I think she still needs to work her way up. That's why I said if she had Swamp Thing and tried to write an emotional story and a horror story with that, then Andy Muschietti could direct. That would be better, as opposed to giving her what James Gunn is giving her here. It's like he's really cheaping out on talent. Joshman says, Eric, I have seen one movie that Christina Hudson wrote was Bumblebee, which is just a straight up ripoff of The Iron Giant. The Iron Giant is one of the greatest animated movies of all time. Yeah, I agree. It was like she did take a lot of the template from Iron Giant. Big Bash says, I do agree with a lot of what you said, but I've said my piece. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, The Iron Giant is a lot of people, even reviewers, when they were reviewing Bumblebee, says, "Oh, I love this movie." Back when it was called The Iron Giant, like so it takes a lot of inspiration from The Iron Giant, is what she's done. Joey, I agree. Joey says Peacemaker season 2 was good, but it leaves me worried for James Gunn's future in the MCU. Me too, because that final episode, I liked all of Peacemaker season 2, but that final episode really put me off. I remember. It put a lot of people off, even his fans. If you looked at his Instagram at the time and his Threads account, a lot of people were saying, "James, what the hell did you do?" Like his fans weren't even liking it either. So, yeah, that's not good. Yeah, Big Bash the Iron Giant did bomb when it came out because the studio did not market it. Warner Brothers didn't care to. People had to find it on DVD, and then it blew up, and they all loved it. Tom Bailey says, I would dare say Iron Giant is Brad Bird's best work. No, to me it is his best work. Even better than The Incredibles, The Iron Giant is. Anthony Collins says, I'm going to watch your video now on my TV. Okay, cool. I hope you enjoy it. This woman doesn't deserve to make a Batman movie. Why, James Gunn, says Jess. Yeah, I think that she needs more practice with other projects before she's given like the big one. Someone needs to be awarded or earn the big one like Batman, but to give it to her, that's like I said, it's like he's not aiming high in terms of quality. Cal says, when is your top 10 worst movies coming out? In the next few days. In fact, after this, I'm going to be working on it. I'm editing it right now. That's what I'm in the process of doing. I've recorded the voiceover for 8 of the worst movies. I've got to record the voiceover for 2 more. And I'm editing it right now. Big Bash says, maybe hiring James Gunn might have been a mistake. It might have been, because he's given promises when he says he likes directors coming in with different tones and everything, but I'm not feeling that right now. And the writing talent, he did a very good job with Lanterns. He's done a very bad job with Batman the Brave and the Bold. What do you guys predict will be on the worst movies, says Aya Anime? Oh, we actually had a discussion about that on the Discord server last week. Everyone was saying, what do you think Eric's worst movies are going to be? And everyone was guessing between each other, amongst themselves, saying, I think he's going to put this on the list or this on the list. But I wasn't telling anyone if they were right or not. James Gunn has a problem with changing up his style, says Big Bash. DC is too mature for his style of film. He definitely does feel like he's a one-trick pony, but I've always said James Gunn does have it in him to branch out, but he keeps going back to his safe space, and I hope he branches out properly, because he really has to with some of these characters. Plus, it's DC. DC is known for being darker and more kind of like grander in ways too, and he's not leaning into that. Oh, now you guys here are starting to predict what my worst movies are going to be. Yeah, yeah, anime's right. I've not seen War of the Worlds. I was so close to almost watching it, but I heard how bad it was that I just didn't. I remember thinking there's a War of the Worlds movie, so I just went into it and had a look, and yeah. But I didn't. But I looked at the preview. I didn't actually go to see the actual movie. It was on my projector too, is where I was. Eric, another thing you would agree with me is that Christopher Nolan was extremely passionate about Batman, and he really did the character Batman right, said Joshman. Yeah, but hi Rohan. Yeah, but he Christopher Nolan had it in him to write something like that. If you just look at his Memento work, and following, he was into that kind of like noir character study type of thing. So someone like him, his sensibilities just were naturally right for Batman. But for Christina Hodson, nothing about her strikes me as someone that would be there to write something for Batman. Like, I feel like she needs to work her way up. She's not at the skill level yet that she needs to be for something like that. Chumble says, "Is Five Nights at Freddy's 2 on your list?" And Creator's Edit says, "I hope not." Well, I'm not going to tell you what's on my list. You're going to have to wait and see when it comes out. Creator's Edit says he enjoyed that movie. Anthony Collins says, I think the problem with James Gunn is that he has one range and that's it. Yeah, I've said that. He has it in him to branch out, but it's like he just doesn't want to. Oh, Jess, you thought Fantastic Four was fantastic. I thought it was okay. I thought it was mediocre. Jedge says, unlike most people, I actually didn't mind Birds of Prey and think it's honestly a decent popcorn flick. But it's ridiculous to put her as writer of a project this big. Yeah, I know. That's what I said. Give her something like Swamp Thing and let her write that. But Batman should have been given to someone like James Mangold, or it should have been given to, Drew Goddard, who created the Netflix Daredevil show. There are many people you could have given the Batman script to, and it would have been so cool. But to give it to her, it just feels like you've given a novice basically a Batman script, and it's like, well, Thing is, I'm gonna say this to you guys. I was saying this to my brother earlier, and my brother agreed instantly. I says, this movie, if he gets it wrong, it will break him. People will not forgive him, and they will actually look at him and say, well, if you didn't do that right, that means that you're not worthy of being head of DC or of managing these movies. He cannot mess up with this. So if he is hiring her, his ass is on the line, and she basically is like holding his career in her hand, basically. So she cannot screw up. And seeing as he's monitoring it, he cannot screw up. If he does, at that point, people will lose faith in him if he can't do Batman right. So he should have gotten better writers for Batman, and then that would have shown that he's really taking this seriously. But I feel like he might think he's taking it seriously, but by hiring her, he's showing me that he's not taking it seriously. Anime says, which are you more excited for, the MCU or DCU? Um, I'm not really excited for either, really. I'm more excited for that Matt Reeves, sort of like Batman universe. So that's what I'm really looking forward to the most. James Gunn's DC still has to prove itself, so I can't be excited for it yet. And the MCU, I don't care about any of their projects. I'm just waiting for Doomsday, and we'll see how that does. Anthony Collins says, what's your criticism for the Fantastic Four, the first steps? I've done a quick movie review on my channel. Watch that and you'll get the detailed answer. It's a short, quick review. It's nothing long. But I'd say watch that if you want to know. That will give you an insight as to what I think. Greg says, I'm confused. When Kevin Feige monitors everything, it's a problem. James Gunn is trying to fix this issue by giving someone creative control, regardless of whether it fits his vision. Let me read that again. I'm confused. When Kevin Feige monitors everything, it's a problem. James Gunn is trying to fix this issue by giving... It's not that. It's like, give them creative control, but you still got to hire a writer that is up to the task. And Christina Hodson, her resume does not show that she is up to the task. For something like Batman, you need a really skilled writer. And he's hired skilled writers for the Lanterns show, but he has not hired skilled writers for the Batman movie. He's hired Christina Hodson. Yeah, there she is. He's hired Christina Hodson, who has delivered like either bad or mediocre superhero movies. I like The Flash, but a lot of people didn't. Birds of Prey is something that a lot of people didn't either. Like, people don't even talk about that movie now. So you need to hire someone who's going to be right for Batman, and she isn't. If anything, he's going to be monitoring her a lot more because I don't think she can write for something like this to the adequate level that it needs to be. So she's going to make probably just an adequate movie, but she's not going to make a great movie. And for Batman, you need a great movie. At minimum. Anime, what do you mean you didn't hate The Flash for its writing, but everything else? Because I think that the writing wasn't perfect. It was good, but it wasn't perfect in the Flash movie. But it was good for the movie that it was, but for something like Batman, that writing is just not good enough. I take Aquaman 2 over The Flash any day. For me, it's the other way around. The Flash over Aquaman 2. And you guys know how much I like that first one. Anime says he should have a writer or director he can put trust in. Clearly, he has trust for Christina Hodson, but I think his trust is misplaced, and I think it's going to just come back to bite him on the butt in the end. Aquaman 2 is a movie that, just as at least Aquaman 2 tried, Aquaman 2 is a movie that you can tell the studio was pulling in multiple different directions. When you watch it, you can see it. Like the narration and everything that happened when Aquaman had to break his brother out of prison and stuff, you could just tell that it was messy in terms of the way it was being put together. Omar said, yeah, Batman is too important to mess up. Yeah, he really is. She's going to be the Kathleen Kennedy of DC for writing this Batman movie. Well, let's see. Afro says, I could at least see a good story in Shazam 2, but that's just me. Shazam 2 was a decent movie too, but not as good as the first, and it's upon reflection, it's a movie that you don't really feel like watching as often. So that's probably also a bit of a mistake with it, I'd say. Which writer do you think would be a better choice for Brave and the Bold if you could name one? Well, I'll name a couple. James Mangold, Drew Goddard. Those are a couple of examples right there. Um, yeah. So I'd recommend them. If you watch my video where I actually talk about Christina Hodson, like you're being the wrong writer, if you watch that video, you'll see me explain why I pick those writers. So yeah. Hmm. Gunn is pretty much a one-trick pony at this point. Yes, he is a one-trick pony, very much so. James wasn't brave enough to announce this, but he definitely was bold enough to hire her. That's funny. That is very funny. uh, but yeah, that is bizarre, isn't it? That James Gunn is not confirming this. It's like he's afraid to confirm it because he knows what the responses are going to be. But the thing is, people should not be worried about the Batman writer. They should be celebrating the Batman writer. When he announces it, it should have been exciting. That's what I was hoping. But you could tell he's afraid to announce it. Rohan, I agree. They should have gotten a different writer and director. James Gunn himself would be good for Batman. No, he wouldn't be. You can't trust James Gunn with dark stuff. Like, you can't. James Gunn's problem is that he just can't seem to get out of his own comfort zone. He keeps going into like the goofy stuff. Even Guardians 3, which had dark elements with Rocket's backstory, those were the best parts of the movie. But he could never maintain a tone like that. He has to always go back, cut back to the Guardians where things are just goofy and silly. He doesn't have it in him to like go all the way in that regard. He always has to go back to the silliness, to the goofiness. One of you said, "What about David Kep?" Well, because David Kep he wrote the first Spider-Man, didn't he? Yeah, no, not him, because he's written a lot of other crap as well. If you look at his filmography, so no, not David Kep. He wrote some good stuff earlier back in the day, but not now. Plus, he didn't he write Jurassic Park Rebirth? Yeah, definitely not David Kep. Get Michael Bay to write Batman. No way. If James Gunn does this to Batman, I don't know what he'll do with Wonder Woman. Honestly, with Wonder Woman, it's not like Batman. Batman, you're like, with Batman, you need a higher writer. With Wonder Woman, you could probably get away with a Christina Hodson because she's not been put on the level of The Dark Knight or Batman Begins or Matt Reeves' Batman. It's like she's not been put on that level. Wonder Woman hasn't. But if she was, then yeah, you would want someone better than her. But then again, with Birds of Prey and how she was writing male characters in that versus the female characters, I don't think I'd want Christina Hodson writing for Wonder Woman either. Son of a bitch, come on, anime. Why'd you have to say that? Get Aquafina to write it. No, we will not. We won't even get her to act in it either. This might be a hot take, but I don't like the new DC logo. I wasn't a fan of it either, but you get used to it. But I do prefer the previous DC logos that were around. Uh, so let's see here. The Batman 2 will probably make more money than Brave and the Bold. It definitely will. If James Gunn can make a movie like Guardians of the Galaxy 3 that, despite having moments to focus on comedy and have it work, for you overall, can't you do the same with Batman? Batman requires an intelligent story though as well. And James Gunn stories, they've never been the closest he's gotten to making them intelligent was probably Suicide Squad when Peacemaker and Rick Flag were fighting. But he needs to maintain something like that for Batman, not just have a good small segment of it. I don't know if he can maintain that. The thing is, he can if he pushes himself. But like I said, James Gunn has this thing where he likes to stay in a comfort zone. He doesn't branch out as much. He needs to branch out more. Big Bash says, get Kathleen Kennedy to write it. Kathleen Kennedy can't write jack and shit. And Jack left town. Glad you get George Clooney to write it. No way. Gunn can't maintain a consistent tone within his films. That's a problem. Well, he can maintain a consistent tone if it's goofy, but if it's something else, then no, he can't maintain a tone. It seems like the gun, Big Bass says, it seems like the gun has missed. Well, Omar says, I think James Gunn should have just stayed in the MCU and nowhere near DC. Jess says, Eric, would you want Joss Whedon to write Batman? Come on, Jess, of course not. Definitely not. I know you're joking, but still, no way. He did write Batman a little in the Justice League movie, and Warner Brothers had to tell him no. They told, because he wanted to do a comedy bit with Batman at the beginning, and they told him, no, you can't do that with a more serious character. So at least Warner Brothers stepped in to say no to that. But I don't feel like anyone is stepping in to say no to James Gunn. Anime, there was a time where getting the Russo brothers to do something like at DC, maybe Batman would have been interesting. But now, after seeing their other movies, I'm very concerned to see them come in for Batman. So, yeah. Tom Bailey says, in your opinion, what is James Gunn's best movie he directed? The best movie he directed is probably the Suicide Squad, I'd say is his best. Either that or Guardians 3, but I'll say the Suicide Squad. What do you want Zack Snyder to come back to do? Nothing. He can stay out of it now. His time is up. It's gone. Not to mention, he's done a bad job with some other stuff that he's been doing recently, especially with his movies. Like Netflix, they don't want to have anything to do with him anymore. The Russo brothers only seem to be good at making Marvel movies, and even then, there's still that uncertainty if they still have it in them. There is, yeah. There really is. Oh, I like that. Nemo says, get Drew Goddard to write it and Sam Raimi to direct it. Yeah, that sounds really good. Really good. But yeah, that uncertainty with the Russo brothers, if they still have it in them, yeah, that is true because they've, they've messed up really badly. So we'll have to see what they do with Doomsday. Yeah, James Gunn did Dawn of the Dead, but that was long time ago. He wrote that, but Zack Snyder directed it. What things does Zack Snyder do better than James Gunn as a director? He gets scope and scale down much better. There is a grit to the stuff he's directing, like visually, there's more of a grit to it. And there's a bit more of a weight to it as well. Like the cinematography, visuals, they look really good. James Gunn's visuals can look good, but they don't look really good. And even when they do look really good, it's like it's only few and far between, like the odd shot here or there. With James Gunn, I wish he could maintain it. Like Nolan's got so many amazing shots in his Batman movies. The same with Matt Reeves' Batman film. You look at Joker from Todd Phillips, that first one, that also had so many great shots. Even the second movie had a lot of great cinematography, even if the movie was shit. James Gunn wrote Scooby-Doo 2002, and it was so goofier. Yeah, he also wrote the second one. The second one was better. But still, the comedy in those movies was weird, dude. Greg said, like I said, comedy isn't inherently a bad thing if it's well placed. You can go overboard with it in the comedy undercuts if the comedy undercuts the drama, but in a vacuum, it's not bad. I've never said it's bad, but I've just said that certain, like MCU directors in particular, they always have this style where it does undercut stuff, or where it does feel like knock knock jokes. It doesn't feel natural. Greg says, do you not like Gunn's style of humor? Do you think Guardians of the Galaxy 3 took it too far in some places, or do you just not want comedy in a Batman film at all? No, of course comedy can happen in a Batman film, but it can't be comedy, it's got to be humor. There's a difference between humor and comedy. Comedy is like a full-on comedy. Humor is like some humor, isn't it? Like more subtle. There's a lot of humor in Batman movies. Go look at Burton's Batman. There's humor in there. There's humor in Batman Returns. There's humor in the three Nolan Batman movies. A lot of humor in Nolan's Batman movies. You can do humor. You just got to know when to do it, how to do it, and how to make it sound natural, like two people having a conversation, not like we're setting up a big Marvel joke or something. So yeah, Big Bash said it. Batman's humor is more subtle. There's a style in which you do humor. Marvel have no style. They just got one style that they give to all the heroes. They don't have their own individual styles. So yeah. What's my favorite Pokemon and region? I haven't seen Pokemon in a long time to know what the Pokemon region is. Um, I would say my favorite Pokemon. I used to always like Bulbasaur. Bulbasaur was cool. Charizard was cool. Damn it, Critter said it's the car. Chicks like the car. What if Guillermo del Toro directed Batman as Tom Bailey? I think you asked that question in my recent post or my recent video about Christina Hodson being the writer, and I says that's another good idea. Hey Eric, after the stream, can we have a Discord group chat and talk about the Oscar nominations? We'll see. Like I said, I've got a lot of work to do, so we always do our Discord chats every 2 weeks. But we'll see if I do. You guys can still always chat between each other as well if you want to talk about the Oscars and you want to, you know, uh, be there live for any of the events. You don't. It doesn't always have to be me there with you guys, because otherwise I can't get videos out, which is also very important. But we always have our regularly scheduled Discord watch parties and voice chats every 2 weeks. So 1 week from now, we'll have another one, and it will be for the movie The Thing, if anyone else is interested. We'll be watching the John Carpenter's The Thing, and we'll be watching it, talking about it, and then we'll analyze the visual effects later as well, like because there were tons of practical effects in that movie. Neil says, what versus videos are coming? Also, what did you think of Stranger Things finale and show as a whole? Versus videos that are coming is Zootopia 1 versus Zootopia 2, Avatar 1 versus 2 versus 3, and then I've got some other versus videos that I'm working on as well, which I don't want to give away. In terms of what I think of the Stranger Things finale, I've only seen the first, was it 4 episodes? Like Stranger Things Season 5, Vol 1. I've not watched Vol 2 or the finale yet, so I can't say. I need to, so I need to watch those before I tell you. Um, so yeah, I do need to watch those before I let you know what I think, and I'll try to let you guys know. Um, let's see. Khan says you're going to love John Carpenter's The Thing, Eric. You are going to love it. I've already seen it a long time ago in my teens, I think. So I'm gonna watch it again. I'll be watching it again. Don't worry about that. I'm gonna be watching The Thing again, which I haven't seen in years. I've forgotten a lot of it, but I also do remember a good amount of it, and you guys will watch it again with me as I do. Wow, a couple of you are I'm surprised that I'm doing the Avatar versus video. I thought I made it clear. I Hate Anime says, dang, a 3-way versus video for Avatar. Yep, that's what I'll be doing next. I've already written a lot of it. Creators Edit says, Avatar 1 versus 2 versus 3. I didn't hear anything about that. Yep, that's what I'm going to be doing. I've already written most of it. Oh, don't worry, Tom Bailey. If you didn't read the question, that's okay. Oh, you thought it was going to be the last 2 versus 3. No, I'm going to do 1 versus 2 versus 3. Eric, once you get done with the stream, just focus on your Zootopia versus video and your worst movies of the year list. That's what I'm working on next. Yeah, that's what I'm working on. I'm working on both of those now. Khan says, should we head to the Q&A? Yeah, I guess we can. Like Mask of the Phantasm did Batman's humor great. Yeah, it did. There's a lot of Batman movies that did do the humor great, but it can't be Marvel humor, which James Gunn just doesn't seem to know any other kind of humor. Like Mask of the Phantasm did. Yeah, we read that. Del Toro Batman film would be amazing. Big Bash says people's standards for comedy has fell so hard. Like people think two numbers are funny now. Yep. Worst Batman movie in my opinion, said Khan. Batman and Robin. Creators edit, you're right. It says Gunn makes every villain a baby. I don't want to guess what villain he will turn into in this movie. Yeah. Excuse me. Let's see. You just want to catch a couple of other questions. Where are you? You said Greg said, Eric, read my question. Okay, where is your question? The reason I think Gunn can pull it off is because I have no reason to believe he can't. He's never done it, but he's never had a reason to. It's fair to expect him to adjust his style if given Batman. If given Batman, you expect him to. But like I said, it's like he has this knee-jerk reaction where he can't stay in a different tone for too long. He has to revert back to what he usually does. Even in a Superman movie, he reverted back at points as well. It's like he's kind of got this formula. He doesn't branch out. And I've always said this, James Gunn, he has the talent to branch out, but he just doesn't. It's like he just doesn't want to. He has no interest in it. Okay, then. Time for the Q&A. And we've got 10 minutes of the Q&A, so you can ask me questions for 10 minutes, then the stream will be over. Logan says, which one do you prefer, Alien or Aliens? I think they're both 10 out of 10 fantastic films, but I prefer Alien. I almost thought you were going to say Ben 10 Alien Force or something, because I saw Aliens and the number 10 a bunch of times from you. Aliens I prefer, the second one. That's one of my favorite movies ever made. Big Bash says, Eric, have you considered playing both let me say that again. Eric, have you considered playing both South Park The Stick of Truth and The Fractured Butthole on Steam? I've actually got The Fractured Butthole on Steam. I played through some of it, but then I uninstalled it so I can install another game, because RPGs like that take a long time. I love the whole superhero parody that South Park is doing. And I've heard Stick of Truth is the better game, but I went for the Fractured Butthole one because it's the superhero genre one where they were making fun of when Cartman's playing the Coon and Kenny is Mysterion. Like I thought those were hilarious, so I just did those. So I thought, let's get that game. I paid about £5 for it, which is a very good deal. Are you gonna watch Smile 3? Yes, when it comes out. Yeah, I will. Eric, would you consider playing South Park Snow Day? It's a 3D South Park game, and it's also a multiplayer game. I've heard of it, never played it, though. Like I said, I've got one South Park game. I don't want to have to get another one. Greg, he says none of Gunn's previous projects required him to leave his comfort zone, though. It did. Like the Superman movie required him to leave his comfort zone, but he went back into it. Where with Mr. Terrific and the song number playing as he was fighting all those people off, Lexus people. And there was also a song at the very end of the movie which felt like James Gunn, and you could just tell when James Gunn has certain humor stuff in there where he's playing it up. And Crypto was a piece of shit of a dog. Like, it was really causing so much trouble. I remember my parents, they did not like Crypto. They thought he was causing too much trouble. And my mum did not like it that Superman was in pain at the beginning and that Crypto was jumping on him a bunch and he was in pain. Well, even more pain. She didn't like that. So mixed opinions and reviews on Crypto. Superman is lighter. He's not supposed to be goofy comedic in the way, and there were some things where it felt like he was a bit. The comedy was going a bit higher than it should have, is what it felt like. He did do better, though. I will say that with Superman, in terms of the tone, he did do better. But I think his better was still not good enough. It still needed to be even more. Simdo? No, I haven't heard of that podcast. God, James Gunn will probably make Joker into a bitch. We'll have to see. Let's hope that don't happen. Gary Loke says, I wish they didn't make Book of Boba Fett and Mando Season 3 so that Mando and Grogu would feel like a big event. Yeah. I wish they don't make a book of Boba Fett and Mando Season 3 so that Mando and Grogu would feel like... No, I've already read that. Oh, you posted it twice. Oh. What do you think of Roxanne and her bond with Max? I've only seen... I talk about Stranger Things Season 5. If you are, I've only seen a bit of it. I've not seen the rest, but I've heard the jokes people make, where she says, you stay here, and she basically goes. So I've heard of that. Do you want to announce what I commissioned? Yeah, sure thing. So, guys, I Hate Anime did a commission for my Patreon. Now, let me bring it up here. Where is it? Oh, here we go, I think. Yep. Okay, guys, right here. Where's my arrow? Where is... Oh, there we go. So you can see this perk right here. Let me point at it. This perk right here, the £120 one per episode. I Hate Anime actually did a commission, and he did this commission 4 times. Basically, he did it 4 times, and he wanted me to do a Let's Watch of a certain TV show. So hang on, or streaming shows, should I say. Let me find the poster and I'll show you guys. Okay, let's show you what it was that he asked for. Right here. So here you go. I Hate Anime commissioned me to watch and react to every episode of Adolescence, and there are 4 episodes. I've never watched this show. I've heard of it. My brother has seen it. I remember Matt Damon and Ben Affleck talked about it recently and said it was fantastic. And yeah, this is something that I'm actually going to be watching, and I'm going to be recording my reaction to each and every single episode. So yeah, this will be fun to do. I did this with Zootopia Plus recently, which G Gamer commissioned, where I watched every episode of Zootopia Plus and reacted to every episode. And I'll be doing the exact same thing with Adolescence here. And just like with Zootopia Plus, I've not seen this, although I have heard with Adolescence that the show is supposed to be like, it's all supposed to take place with one shot. And that is something that is really cool. So I'm on my Patreon. That's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to, after I've done my top 10 worst movies list and my Zootopia 1 versus Zootopia 2 video, I'm going to get straight to watching all 4 of these episodes and putting my reactions up on my Patreon where you guys can all watch it. So a huge thanks to I Hate Anime for that. That is a huge help. Not only does it massively support the channel, but it also gives content to everyone on Patreon. And just recently, I reacted to the first episode of Once Upon a Time, uh, which is supposed to be based on like the Disney characters of like the fairy tale characters. And I reacted to episode 1, which I watched for the very first time. And I actually talked about how much better it is than all these Disney remakes and how good it was in that way. So yeah, there's a lot to get out of these types of shows when I do these Let's Watches, and I hope I Hate Anime enjoys it, and I hope all you guys enjoy it as well when I put it up. So yeah, if any of you guys want me to react to your favorite TV show or anything of the sort, then all you got to do, if I can get my freaking arrow, hang on, there's so much shit here. There we go. So yeah, if you want me to react to like a 10-minute episode of a show or something, then all you got to do is just using Streamlabs. The link in the description is submit the tip of £30. Or if you want me to watch a 20-minute episode and react to that and review that, then it's 60. Or if it's a 40 to 60-minute long episode, then it's this. Now, I'm going to be removing this right here very soon, because it will take a long time for me to watch 8 episodes of something for this kind of price range. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually remove this. So that means that you've got a limited time to take advantage of this if you want me to watch 8 episodes of a show and you want to get it at this discounted price. So bear that in mind right there. So yeah, ultimately, huge thanks to I Hate Anime for that, and I've still got other commission videos to do, but that's one that I'll also be doing simultaneously. Let's see, Tom Bailey says, I've seen Adolescence, it's very good. Stephen Graham is fantastic as always, as well as the kid acting in it. It's very gritty, dark, and emotional with a gut-churning subject matter. Nice, that sounds right up my alley. Quite frankly, that's a good description for what James Gunn should be doing with his Batman movie. Fantastic, as well as the kid acting in it being very gritty, dark, emotional, with a gut-churning subject matter. That sounds like what The Brave and the Bold should be, quite frankly. Will you do the Super Mario movie versus the Super Mario Galaxy movie? I probably will. I'll try to give it a shot. That will be a shame, though, for those who really want to commission those shows, says Khan. Yeah, the kid won an Emmy. I did hear about that. Yeah, that was a big deal. At least Roxanne is better than Mary Jane from the Spider-Man movies, and she is not toxic like her. I don't know. I feel like... Eric, what was it like watching the first SpongeBob movie the first time in 2004? I didn't watch it in 2004. I was not really into SpongeBob. I saw some episodes when it would come on, but I wasn't really into SpongeBob. I was more into the Cartoon Network shows like Ben 10, Batman the Animated Series, The Batman, which was out, and many things like that. The Master of Gaming has done a £1. Let's see, it's a £1 Streamlabs chat. He says, "Hey Eric, what's your thoughts on the Masters of the Universe movie trailer?" I actually have not seen it yet. In fact, I'm going to do a trailer reaction very soon and put it up on my Patreon. Ideally, I'm going to try to do that as soon as I finish this live stream. I'm going to take a little break, and then I'm going to do the trailer reaction to Masters of the Universe. And I'm also going to do a trailer reaction to the new Super Mario Galaxy trailer. And my reaction to the first trailer for Super Mario Galaxy is already on my Patreon and YouTube memberships, if you want to watch that and see what I think. In fact, where is it? Hold on a second. Here you go. If you want to gain access to my trailer reactions and get your name in the credits of my videos, you just got to go for this perk right here, the $3 one. Once you do that, you will gain access to those trailer reactions and get your name in the credits. Plus, it helps support the channel. And trust me when I say the channel really needs all the support it can get, especially because I reviewed every episode of It, Welcome to Derry recently, and HBO, Warner Brothers, they claimed every single review. And I could have stopped reviewing it, but because you guys really kept asking me to do it because you enjoyed the reviews, I knew it was going to get claimed, but I did the reviews anyway, and that did take a huge bite out of the channel. So, any donations you guys can give, whether it's through Patreon, whether it's through YouTube memberships, or donating with the link in the description to Streamlabs, where I get 100% of your donation revenue and YouTube takes none of it, it will all really help support the channel. Because, like I said, like a big bite out of the revenue was taken from those videos getting demonetized pretty much instantly as soon as I uploaded them. So I'd really appreciate any of that. And I'm going to take 3 more questions, and then we're going to end the stream. So let's see. And again, huge thanks to I Hate Anime. That was incredibly generous, and I can't wait to get to actually watching that show. Gary Lux says, I'm surprised Gal Gadot was not nominated for a Razzie. I know, right? She should be. Since you saw the first Goofy movie, you mean what did I think of it? I enjoyed it. I really did enjoy the Goofy movie. I wanted to watch it ever since I was a kid. I saw the trailer on the Disney VHS tapes. I actually talk about that in my Goofy YouTube shorts, which I put on Instagram and Patreon and TikTok as well. Basically, I really enjoyed it. I wish it was a bit longer because I wanted a bit more time on the road trip. I actually think that would have been nice. And overall, it was a very simple movie, but it was very charmingly simple. So I really enjoyed it. Next time, if you want to join in on a watch party, again, be sure to do so with Patreon because we're talking live as we're watching and we're all reacting to it together. And it's a really nice communal experience. So anytime you can, or if it's within your means, be sure to join us on the watch party over on my private Discord server. You just got to go for the watch party perk, the $10 perk, and then just connect your Patreon to your Discord, connect your Patreon account and your Discord account together, and then you'll gain access to my private Discord server. Joshua says, Eric, do you think anyone in the chat will commission you to watch My Little Pony Friendship is Magic series? And I know you would find it cringe, and the show would be incredibly stupid. If someone commissioned me for it, then yes, I would actually do it. So, but be careful what you wish for. I don't think anyone will do it, really. So, yeah. But if they did, I would. I Hate Anime says, I might be a bit late next watch party as I'm watching The Lord of the Rings 3 that day. Oh, don't worry, buddy. It's but whenever you can join in, be sure to, and it'll be great. But yeah, I hope you enjoy The Lord of the Rings 3 when you watch that. Watch every Peppa Pig episode. I don't know how many there are. Given you've seen Demon Slayer, what are your favorite animes? I loved Pokemon growing up as a kid, but I've since stopped watching Pokemon. Yu-Gi-Oh! Was what I really loved. I loved Zoids as well. Zoids was really cool. I loved that show as a kid. I also love Death Note. Death Note is amazing. Demon Slayer I've already mentioned, and I'm sure there must be another anime that's just not coming to me. But those are ultimately my big animes. Yu-Gi-Oh! Was huge. To this day, I still love watching Yu-Gi-Oh! I Hate Anime says, watched The Lord of the Rings 2 today and thought it was better than the first. Oh, really? Oh, cool. Yeah, the first one, I really do enjoy the first one. What's your favorite pizza topping? It usually is some kind of meat. I can't pick which meat. They're too nice. I'll just say chicken. Chicken on top of pizza is kind of like if there was one meat you had to go for, I'd go for that one. The Demon Slayer movie was snubbed at the Oscars and put Elio instead. Yeah, can you believe that? That is freaking stupid. What about the Rings of Power? What about the Rings of Power? No one likes the Rings of Power. Eric, did you love Max and Roxanne from Goofy Movie? I could take him or leave him. She was gaslighting him a little, she was. When she was like, okay, I'll just go with someone else, even though he was trying to explain to her that he wanted to, but his father was making him do something. Really, it was that principal's fault. He should have got some comeuppance. Eric, do you think Birds of Prey is still a horrible movie, and do you think the R rating was not utilized properly? Yeah, the R rating was not utilized properly. It felt like it was base level. And do I think it was a horrible movie? Yeah, I still think it was a bad movie. And I don't like what they did. Thank God Matt Reeves told Margot Robbie, no, don't use Penguin because I'm going to use him. How do your videos avoid copyrights at 10 Rexy? Well, half the time. Well, usually you have to try to make sure that you edit around them. So whenever you think you're going to get copyright claims, you try to say, all right, let's minimize how much clips I show. So when you watch the top 10 worst movies list, you're going to see me use less clips on the Universal movies if I have Universal movies in there. Okay, I'm going to have some Universal movies in there. I'll just put it that way. I think I've given that away already. You'll see some of those movies, I'm going to just use images, and I'm going to zoom into images. If you watch the video on my Patreon or YouTube memberships, what I will do then is you'll see the full moving video. But if you're on YouTube watching it, like just on my main YouTube channel, not YouTube memberships and not Patreon, you're going to be seeing those worst movies have like just images that I zoom into. Because just recently, I think it was my top 10 my top 10 worst movies, or was it 2019 or something, or 2020? It got claimed by Universal because I used trailer footage from one of the Fast and Furious movies. So yeah, they don't even let you use trailer footage, which is ridiculous. So because of that, yeah, I can't I can't afford to use footage from them, so I'm going to be doing that. But if you are on my Patreon or if you are on my YouTube memberships, you'll get the full complete video without, where I do use the full footage and I don't just use images. Okay. Now, Kevin has done a $5 super chat. Thanks very much for that, bud. I appreciate it. He says, back in 2008, Incredible Hulk wasn't as good as Iron Man 1, but it was definitely much better than Indiana Jones 4. And then he says, Bigfoot stole the show in Goofy movie. Yeah, Bigfoot was awesome. I like the bit when they're fishing, and then when Bigfoot shows up, and then when Goofy's kid says, it's Bigfoot. The way he said that, I remember that was in the adverts when I was a kid, and I always wanted to see what would happen in that scene, and I finally got to see it, which was cool. Incredible Hulk wasn't as good as Iron Man 1, but it was definitely much better than Indiana Jones 4. That wasn't really saying much, because Incredible Hulk I thought was just an okay movie when it came out. Iron Man 1 was a very good movie, but also The Dark Knight came out in 2008, and it blew all these movies away, including the first Iron Man. Even Robert Downey Jr. said so, that he was only able to really enjoy that until The Dark Knight came out. So yeah. Do you think video games have become too big and ambitious for their own good, Eric? I do. That's why it's taking so long to develop video games now. Now it takes... Before, you could get entire game trilogies on one console generation. But now, you're lucky to get even one on a single console generation. Because whereas before it took like 2 years to develop a game, now it takes like an entire console generation. Like a minimum of 5 years. And the average console generation is 7 years, but seeing as games are taking longer to develop now, they should extend the console lifespan. So instead of it being like just 7 years, it should maybe be 10 years, or maybe even longer than that. I would say double it should be. So yeah, it is very disappointing that that is the case, but yeah, you can't really do anything about it, really. It says I got... Oh, hang on a second. It says I got another donation, but there's no message attached to it. Oh, actually it is. All right, I've already read that one. Okay, cool. Oh, almost dropped my book down there. Okay. All right. Yeah, not the book. Eric Carter, I definitely will say the live-action remake of Lilo and Stitch deserves to be on the worst of list. Okay. Eric, will you see the second Goofy movie? Oh yeah, there was a second movie, wasn't there? At some point, yeah, well, why not? We'll do a watch party of the second Goofy movie. Big Bash says, what do you like more, Eric? Stylized graphics or photorealism? I like both of them. It depends what it is for, though. It depends what kind of style you're going for. Photorealism is really cool to see, but you will get bored if you see that all the time. So going for stylized graphics can be the way for sure. So yeah, yeah, that's what I'd say. It depends on the game, but I like both of them. I Hate Anime says, I will send my top 5 worst movies list after the worst of video comes out. Cool, no probs. All right, guys, with that, I don't want to go yet because I'm actually enjoying spending time with you guys, but the thing is, I've I've got 2 videos to edit and I need to get to editing those. Jess asked if I would be on the Discord server to do a voice chat about the nominations. I don't think I will because like I said, I got to edit those other videos, and also I think I need a green tea right now after chatting for the last 2 hours. So I'm sorry, I won't be able to do that. But in 1 week from now, we'll have a watch party of The Thing, John Carpenter's The Thing, on my private Discord server, and we'll all have a great time as we usually have. We can all chat, and we'll at the end when we finish watching the movie, we will dissect those amazing practical effects, and we'll look at them and we'll analyze them, and we can all talk about the making of what went into them, including one of the practical effects that had chewing gum used to like mimic the melting flesh on the head of this person. All amazing practical effects. We'll talk about all of those. So bring your facts over to the private Discord server about how they accomplish these effects, and we'll be able to delve into them and really talk about how they pulled it all off. So, guys, I had an absolute blast with you as always. Like I said, you're like my sorry. Like I said, you're like my second family, and I absolutely have an absolute blast spending time with you guys. Used to be every week, but now it's every other 2 weeks because I want to speak to you guys as well. And that's why you're on my private Discord server, so I can actually see you and speak to you every week as well. So next week, be sure to bring your questions over. We'll chat about any of that kind of stuff, and then we'll watch our movie and we'll chat and talk about that too. So thank you guys very much for watching. I really appreciate it. Thank you for the super chats and the Streamlabs chats. Again, thank you, I Hate Anime, for what you have done with your commission. That really helped a great deal. And yeah, I'll catch all of you very soon. Take care. Oh, and be sure if you haven't already to jump on over and watch my Christina Hodson being the Batman writer and why that's a bad idea. And please be sure to hit the thumbs up button and the hype button so we can really share and spread that video around. And be sure to share it on any of your social medias or your Twitters and everything like that. I'd really appreciate the support and the help because I put a lot of time and work and effort into editing that video. I even stayed awake a night or two ago just getting it all done. So thanks a ton, guys. I'll catch all of you very soon. Bye.